We're going to solve crime in at least D.C., right?
The occupied territory of the District of Columbia, Trump has called out the National Guard. Many of them from West Virginia and Mississippi have gone to patrol the streets of Washington. For the first week, they had no guns, so thank God they didn't actually come across any gang violence, because they would have taken the short end of that. For the most part, they're not in the high crime areas of D.C. They're in the tourist locations, in the transportation subway stations, and at the national monuments, where there's frankly not a lot of crime. This is being done at a cost of hundreds of millions of dollars. And bear in mind what a National Guard soldier is. He's not a full-time soldier. He's a guy who's a truck driver or a teacher or a storekeeper or a laborer. And that's usually his primary income. And he signed up for the Guard because he's a veteran or because he wanted a little additional income. And he goes 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks in the summer. And that's his Guard obligation.
Right.
But now these guys, these men and women, are going to be deployed in Washington, D.C. For a month or more at a time, likely forcing them to lose the job they had back home, certainly impacting their income. Likely it's the start of school all over America, so they're not going to be there to see their kids in school. Some of these are one-parent families. So it's a really, the burden nobody's really talked about is falling on these guardsmen themselves, who have been forced to endure this.
Let's take this D.C. thing a little further. Now, legally, he can do this in D.C. because D.C. is not a state. It's run by the federal government, right?
Right. There are, they have a modicum of home rule, but that can be overruled by the president.
Right.
I think this is really, frankly, Mike, a test drive for January 6, 2029, when it comes time to certify the next election, and whether or not he can get by with putting troops on the street to prevent the Congress from doing what they need to do. We'll see.
Yeah.
But
the other thing is now he's threatening to go into states and put these troops. And there's a different complexion to that, right? Because now we're getting into state rights and things like that, correct?
Right. The National Guard typically serves at the direction of the governor. The governor has a guard general who reports to the governor. To take that authority away, it was done very limitedly by Eisenhower during the civil rights era to open schools. It really hasn't, and it was done during the Los Angeles riots. Hasn't really been done since then. And so this is going to be a new thing of sending troops into American cities. The guy that won't give the Ukrainians the weapons they need to fight seems very willing to invade America.
Yeah. And the governor of Illinois is not going to have it because they talk about sending troops to Chicago, right?
Yeah, and let's just understand what law enforcement does. Law enforcement, you either see crime and arrest people, or you investigate crime based on evidence, and you have detectives, none of which the National Guard is suitable for doing.
Right.
So all they can really do is guard buildings. That's what they did in Los Angeles. They spent $150 million guarding federal buildings for 30 days. They can do that in Chicago, but they can't go out and make arrests. They don't have a database to analyze crime, to haul in suspects. So they're really going to serve no useful purpose. They're not really serving a useful purpose in Washington other than simply just being there. And people like the fact that they're there. And if you are, riding a subway late at night and there's somebody on the platform, I suppose that is reassuring, but it's not really bringing down the crime rate.
Right. Exactly.